I'm here with Mr. Didier Richter. Nice meeting you. You are one of the few bankers actually that is here on the website. I checked in the beginning if maybe the German banks would also show up. They don't do it, so probably they're missing a lot, and therefore it's even better pleasure. Not said really correctly. Really pleasure to welcome you here to have also an opinion from established players in the financial industry. So people might not know you, so if you would like to introduce yourself and your position.
Yeah. So I'm Didier Richter, I'm working for BIL, Banque Internationale Luxembourg, and especially in the marketing, product services, pricing, and joining the direct banking, all the digital banking of the bank. So internet banking, mobile banking, targeting the right clients on the right media.
Yeah, so I also saw your Twitter, so you're really into the digital world, I think.
Yes, I all started with a pure marketing PNS approach, and then betting on the first app of the bank. I made a bet with my director, gave me 20k, and I developed the first app of the bank. And slowly, over the last 5 years, we transformed this pure marketing app into one of the most advanced mobile banking in Luxembourg and even a bit further.
So we are actually talking to a real entrepreneur in that sense.
Within the bank, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let us shortly introduce your bank. It's the International Bank of Luxembourg.
Yeah, so it's Banque Internationale Luxembourg. We were founded in 1856.
Very old bank.
Oldest bank in Luxembourg. But following the financial crisis, we had a huge change. So we changed over to state-owned and private capital. So the headquarters is back in Luxembourg. We are our own owner, I would say. Decision is taken within the building, and the innovation spirit, the entrepreneur spirit is completely different. Now it's the bank of today and tomorrow, and not the bank from 1856, even if we have the strengths of it.
Yeah. You have something about 20 billion balance sheet. And you're operating in several markets.
Yes, we are many working, so we have three main activities. Retail banking, so locally, Luxembourg, commuters. We have the private banking activity. We also have presence in Switzerland, in Dubai, and we have also corporate banking activity, as well as a trading bank.
Very interesting. So let's dive directly into the topic Fintech everybody's talking about. If I may ask in the beginning, and I will repeat the question in the end, there are two trends, in my opinion, now. And this is the Euro crisis and Fintech. We are still not sure which is the more important one, the more dominating one. What would you say?
If we look forward, I would say it's the Fintech. Euro crisis, it's shaken the banks. Back in 2008, we were shaken a bit. It gave us a new way of banking in Luxembourg, and especially within the bank. New management, new stakeholders. We managed to keep and to strengthen the trust of our clients. Trust is it's key in the bank system. And now I would say the future is about fintechs. How we will cope with them, and everybody who says frenemies. Are they friends or are they enemies? And for us at the bank, we have a clear fintech approach. For us it's more friends. At least if you take the decision to work with them, to look with them, and even to finance them. So that's another way of seeing them.
Yeah, so you already took away my next question. Taking up this your friends approach, what does it mean actually for the startup or for the company that is producing innovation? Do you interact with them? Do you scout them? And do you maybe, I mean, you mentioned that, some of the innovation in-house yourself?
Yeah, so up to now, we made everything by ourselves, except for one point that we went to fintech. So we partnered with a fintech in Luxembourg, DigiCash, not to name it. It's a payment fintech, mobile payments. It's payment in point of sales. It's payment also on the internet, or it's peer-to-peer transfer. So it's very large. It's well spread. Up to 90% of clients in Luxembourg can use this app. So it's very useful and very nice. So this is typically the partnership we made with the fintech. Otherwise, it's more a way to see and to tackle the innovation.
Okay.
So the bank is a whole bank, or more, I would say, large company is not that quick or that rapid to go on the market. We have a legacy system, we have IT, we are in a highly regulated domain. So betting on fintech, partnering with fintech, watching what they do, and talking with them bring us a lot to know and a lot more to go on board. So it's more trying to find the right ones, because behind every fintech, usually you have a bank anyway. At a certain time of their life, they have to come to a bank, either to finance or to work with or to have an account. So partnering with the fintech is much better than seeing them as enemies.
You're also the director of direct banking, and you already mentioned your approach. So we have fintechs on the corporate side, on the business side, and then we have them on the client side, on the private client side. What is actually influencing your interaction, especially in the direct banking field, with your clients the most, that is coming from fintech? Is there something you picked up? Is it just Twitter marketing? Is it Facebook marketing? Or is it going farther?
I would say in the banking you have two sides. You have the social media. Up to now, social media is not that high in banking. It's more for competitions to win the tickets for this or this, or for supporting clients. So it's a way to answer questions, client questions. On banking, it's still the bank app or the bank website. But we can work with fintechs to bring the technology within the experience. So it's more monitoring what is trending for the moment and what are the needs. Because finally, if you come up with a fintech, it's not a need for a client. Okay, it's nice. I think it's nice, but if it doesn't serve the client, so the client is the key person, and there it's to monitor the behavior and what they would like to take from the fintech.
So very interesting. I would like to frame fintech now with your eyes, the eyes of a experienced banker, because I think at the moment we still don't know where the travel is going to. And so I have three areas. I would be very interested in seeing how you see that. First, let's start with the competitive landscape. So when I think of a universal bank and all their core products like lending, payment, investment, credit, the old document business, cards, where do you think are the fintechs able to really hit? Where's the most, let's say, danger of competition, and where do you think it's the least? And for me, it has also to do with the adoption channel of such kind of innovations.
So fintechs are obviously competing in every single channel you just mentioned or activity, but they are competing on the user experience, because usually that's where they are the best. It's the user experience who are making the big difference. Now, to use them as a bank, it's quite difficult. Why? Because when you have a fintech, they usually do not bother about regulation, about all these capital reserves, and so which is giving the trust to the client. The reason why the client trusts you. So it's more another way of banking, and where you have a high competitions coming is in the payments or in the in-between, like you have some in Germany, I know, and the next threat, it's not the fintech, it's the regulation, because with the payment service directive 2, which is coming end of 2017, then it opens the banks to all these third-party providers, and there is I would say a field that these fintechs will come in, but it means they will have to change from the pure fintechs working in a garage or in a hall. With regulation, then they need to be audited and to be more, I would say, strict in the way they will act tomorrow. So regulation will also tackle these fintechs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, talking about the user experience, especially for regulation, there are things that you just cannot really make better because there's some process you have to follow and the client might not really understand because it has to be exactly this process, simply it's from the outside. So where do you think is the limit? I mean, where's the limit where you can really compete on the user experience and in which product category? And when is it simply like if we try to make it better ourselves, but hey, this is what we have to do. I mean, I have to hand in my passport, for example. You have to have a copy, I think, also in Luxembourg.
Yeah. So the user experience is the opposite of the security and the privacy. If you look the best user experience, we go to Google, Facebook, PayPal, all this just swipe or use your finger to do things. If you go to the banks, clients would love to do it. But if you explain to them the risk of having the bank account just withdraw with all the money, then they say, okay, security and privacy matters. And that's where we have sometimes to have another bit of UX to keep that security and that privacy. But user experience is more, I would say, design. And that's why we have to take our clients more and more on board to design with them to see what is the best flow, where the menu, how the flow of the transactions have to be. So there we can get much better than today.
I mean, you already mentioned regulation. Do you have the feeling, do you observe cases where you would actually say this is a borderline? They are taking markets away from traditional banks. They are still managing to be outside of regulation, but actually they should be inside for good reason. As I think this is sometimes the strategy.
Yeah, there is a typical point. It's a payment industry.
Okay.
The payment industry, you see that you have some fintechs borderline, and they try to push the regulation more and more further to accept, I would say, less security or less privacy, and so there is the tricky point. And depending on the country, I know that some country like Luxembourg, the regulators are working with the fintechs. So they try to meet them regularly to set up the good framework by keeping the privacy and the security. So it's finding the best of both worlds, and finally everyone will evolve positively, banks and fintechs and the market.
So it also depends on where you are in Europe.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, from regulation, it's just one step ahead to, let's say, financial system architecture. And what I very often read in a newspaper, but also in some professional publications, is that the fintechs are not only delivering a product promise or a user experience promise, but they also claim to really change the way banking and financial markets work to some degree. And I simply put it as a debatable thesis that this is an overpromise. I mean, let's pick up Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now a bit out of fashion, so they might be interesting for the payment, but are they really able to deliver a new currency without all the fiat currencies? I have a big doubt. I mean, this is also rooted in theory, so what is your idea about that?
It's tricky because if you take the banks, we have to do everything. So on a fintech, usually they are.
What do you mean by everything?
Every payments, cash, deposits, corporates, individuals, young, old, everyone. The one who are digital, the one who are not digital. You still have to serve because you have some people who are not digital today. If you look at the fintech, they are doing one promises. So they do one single. They invest on a cash payment. They invest on transfer of payments. They invest on one, I would say, operation. By focusing on this, yes, they can be better. They could deliver some promises. I have an example of the UK one, which is not very threatening for Central Europe, but which is TransferWise, who is very focusing on the transfer between GBP and Euro. And so when you go overseas, and there you have charges. High charges in the UK. And they are competing on a very specific point, transferring GBP into Euro. But should they compete on every single part of a bank, they could not go with their promises.
But don't you think that this is also their weakest point? In the sense that, I mean, in the end, financial institutions are about risk-taking with the balance sheet, and it's about asset-based growth.
Yeah.
So you either have to increase lending or you have to get some money in and do the investment. So I mean, this one product focus is from the tech side story. Yeah, of course, everybody will tell you that. But if you try to enter an established industry with, I mean, let's say 150 years of history, but in reality, banking has a history of 4,000 years.
Yeah.
And we are talking about social data. We are not talking about hard science research data. I think this is the tricky issue and
and that's especially where I say that we have to be friends with fintech. So that's typically where we need to partner with them, because the bank will take the best out of these promises one by one, and together we can be and deliver a high banking experience to the clients.
So basically, you let them do, then you buy them up and
or partner with them. Yeah, we can partner with them.
Okay, very interesting. So they cannot really promise to or deliver on the promise to change the industry at large, but on some things and some user
specific points, yeah.
Okay. I mean, you have been around Web Summit, and you saw a lot of fintech startups, I guess. Was there something particularly interesting?
The spirit, the entrepreneurial spirit. So the way you see things, the way people are acting. For example, usually that's a tie, it's a suit. Here it's different. The mindset is different, so it helps. Seeing that beside this all digital apps, mobile banking apps and so on, you have a digital world, and to connect to these people and to all these fintechs, or to listen to the guru of the digital world in Google, Facebook and so on, it changes a lot. Yeah, it helps when you come back to your daily banking. I think so. To bring the best out of it, to have this entrepreneurial mindset that will do the tomorrow's bank.
Yeah. And also for the audience, we caught some of the real Web Summit spirit with the speakers and the people passing by. Mr. Richter, I said I'm going to repeat the question. Euro crisis of fintech. What is having more impact?
Fintechs.
Okay, fintechs.
For the future, yes.
Clear vote for the future. The Euro crisis we hope politicians are sorting out.
Exactly.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Have a great time here on the Web Summit. And thank you very much for taking your time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.